I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna pick up my journal and I'm actually gonna go through journal entries. You wanna start journaling, but you don't know where to start. You hear about all the benefits of journaling. You can't seem to fathom how writing down a bunch of words from your brain on a piece of paper can actually do you any good. You need a sense of direction. From my personal experience, I can tell you that journaling is single-handedly the biggest factor to my sense of mental clarity. The first time I journaled really and truly, I thought, this is weird. But there's beauty in documentation. The same way you take photos and videos to remember a concert, a party, is the exact same way that you can write your thoughts down on a piece of paper and look back on that time in retrospect. What it indicates to me is where I was 3 months, 6 months, a year ago, because I'm tracking it. I'm tracking my growth so I can see where I am mentally, what I'm thinking about, what I thought was worth jotting down. It's the freedom to write anything down on a piece of paper. But why does it seem so daunting? Is it the lack of structure? Because in my experience, all I can say is that the lack of structure has fed into how easy I find it. There are no rules. It's not an essay. It's not an assignment that you're going to submit. You don't have a minimum word requirement and you don't have a maximum word requirement. Journaling is for you. I describe it as having a messy room and taking intentional time to go to each spot of your room to get the clothes that are unfolded and thrown all over the place and to neatly gather them and start folding them individually before putting them in their place. That is probably the best way that I can describe journaling. So in this video, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pick up my journal and I'm actually going to go through some journal entries that I've made just to give you guys insight into what I write about, how I write it, and maybe to give somebody some inspiration. Because I know a lot of people want to start journaling, but there's an aversion. Let me get to reading my journal now. So this is my journal, 2024, page a day, very simple. It's a bit beat up, but we're halfway into the year, so I've written quite a bit into it. So we're just gonna open on a random page. So the following journal entry is from the 2nd of May, Thursday, the 2nd of May, 2024. And I wrote this at 9:55. I always document what time I start writing, just so I know if I wrote it in the morning or not, just personal preference. Here we go. So waking up earlier will require me to continually hit the hay earlier. Tonight, I will commence my night routine at 10 p.m., setting an alarm to wake up at 8. By God's grace, I slept very well and I feel fantastic. Nothing hits like the workout, shower, and hit the hay sequence. The fact that I can do all of the above independently is never to be taken for granted either. Directly outside my window and across from my room is a tree. I've never consciously looked at it or noticed it, but wow, its elegance is effortless. It doesn't complain about weather. In fact, it relishes both rain and sun. It stands tall, whatever the weather, standing its ground, knowing its role. It's not rigid. The branches sway and flow, and the tree itself always adjusts itself to the season. Stagnant people stink, says my bro. The tree is content. It's taken care of. By who? God, of course. Yet, if God takes care of the trees on earth, if his glory emanates from nature as it does, how much more us? The tree is beautiful. God calls us fearfully and wonderfully made. He says we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. It just comes down to one thing: belief. Believing in myself, in my ability, in my looks, in my intelligence, in my future is enough. Once the positive beliefs are there, the rest is sorted. Like the tree, I am grateful, elegant, changing, alive, and emanating God's glory. Before I then sign off with my signature, and I do this every day. What gave me the inspiration that day was I was quite literally just looking outside my window as I was writing. I got the inspiration from a seemingly uninspiring object, which was a tree. But I observed the tree, as you could tell, and its elegance struck me. Its existence struck me. I started to ask questions. This was all going on inside my head. I didn't write it to seem cool or to seem like Shakespearean or like I'm spitting bars. This is exactly what I was thinking in my head. So that's all it is. And it gave me a sense of clarity. Formatting it in such a way allowed me to hit the nail on the head and really see what's going on in this brain of mine. I can't recommend journaling enough, and you should take this as your sign to start. And the beautiful thing is, I know the location of my 2023 journal, and on occasion, I will go to the journal and read it. I'll go to a random point in the journal, start reading it. And that way I'm able to see where I was a year or more ago. And it's just so interesting. Let's read another entry. The following is the 12th of February, 2004. The 12th of February 2024, and this was written at 3:16. Week 2 of 75 had 80 odd grams of protein down and 2 liters to go to complete my water goal. Spoke with course mates for what felt like an hour. Funny to think I hesitated at the thought of stalling and chatting, but when I really think about it, since it's the so-called uncomfy thing to do, I should be doing it. Take for instance my gym session. I asked what turned out to be the nicest black guy I've come across since I've lived here if I could work in between his sets. His countenance was very welcoming, and I can't help but feel like I should have initiated a conversation with him. But what do I talk about? It's crazy how fear of awkwardness prevents us from doing certain things. It feels like when we were younger, such awkwardness didn't exist. Is this because we were more carefree and frivolous? I'm working on being more loose, carefree, and therefore less judgmental. This life is short, and really and truly, people don't remember or care about you like that. I should make more attempts to cold call, to just start talking to people. About what though? Common ground. Relatability allows both parties to bond instantly at a high level. Another thing is to ask probing questions. People love talking about themselves. These answers were in my head. I just had to find them. Be comfortable and talk to more people. Practice. The worst that could happen is you don't hit it off or you never see each other again. I'm almost lost for words. I didn't know. I don't recall writing this. Really and truly. That's some food for thought. That's definitely some food for thought. So I'm educating myself at this point. Yeah, the journaling thing set my mind right, and I definitely recommend it 100,000%. For more of the Lamu's insights and things like this, please like, please share, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know that this helps you. I appreciate it, and it does a lot for me. It does a lot for the channel as well as we try and grow. So until next time, peace.